Hey guys, Tarke here. I want to give a quick update to what I've been up to this league, because it's been a few days since I last made a character update. And then also at the end I just want to make some channel announcement sort of style things. So, Path of Exile stuff first, channel stuff later. So, where have we been? So this league we've done a few things. We started with the iShot character, got it to 83. Decided I wanted to have some currency to make it CI, we benched it. So from that we then started playing the Siege Ballista Champion. Now, the Siege Ballista Champion was a build I've really enjoyed playing it, and I had a lot of fun with the character, up until, like, actual maps. So let me explain what I mean by that. So if we look at my Atlas is not that advanced at all. Basically, we unlocked Shape Strand, and that was about it. We kind of just, like, we did all the 1 to 9s, then we unlocked Shape Strand, and then we did, like, a little bit of Shape Strand, and that was it. We just, like, he's like, we got to this point and we stopped mapping. Why was that? The problem with this build, and I'm not really sure how to fix it, and this is why I stopped playing the character, I will go back to it at some point, is the Ballistas do really good damage when they're alive. They're really squishy. They just fall the fuck over. The second you start getting into, like, the real maps, the mobs get actual HP. So if they're Reflect, right? If it's a Reflect map, you drop Ballistas. The Ballistas kill themselves to Reflect in a couple of hits. So now, running Reflect maps feels bad. So you can run them, it's just painful. So it's like a map mod you don't really want to run. You can run it though. If the mobs have crazy AoE, like certain bosses have crazy AoE, it feels bad because they just decimate all your Ballistas unless you, like, spread them out all over the place, which you can do. It's something you have to do, so you need to get clever with your positioning. So you can combat it, but it feels kind of annoying. If you're doing something like the Excavation boss, if you look on my channel, you can see me trying to do it the first time. It took a while to get that guy down. I tried it multiple times. In the end, I actually got someone from the stream to help me out, and we struggled to get it down. The Excavation boss is such a pain in the arse in hardcore, especially in this kind of a build. Basically, when you have very specific bosses which have to die in a particular order or a particular sequence, and you have totems which you can't control, which just fall over the second they take any damage, it's frustrating. So how did I combat this? I actually used minion and totem elemental resistance support. This now gives more elemental damage. So this is a very nice pickup. It is slightly less damage than running increased crit strikes or crit damage, but it's still good enough, and it helps a little bit. It doesn't solve the problem, but it helps. So that's that. I thought, you know what, let's play something different. I'll come back to Zed when I have some more ideas about how to fix the totem problem. So from this, Path of Exile just crashed. I don't know why, whenever I try to log out, well, not every time, but like 80% of the time when I try and log out, Path of Exile just crashes. No idea what caused it. A few other people in chat have had the same issue. I don't know. So then after that, I thought, you know what, let's make a lab character, because I had like 30 lab keys saved up. Let's make a lab character. So I ended up going, well, if I run a lab character, I might get some decent helm enchants, and that will mean that I can then go back to my iShot character and do some, like, crazy hubris, you know, +2 barrage, +2 to iShot helm enchants, or iShot, or basically you get the idea. So I went for, like, a generic as tree. I'll link the trees for all these characters in the description. Axes, I was picking up all the leech, I was picking up Fortify when I died. Get some life, get some damage, fill in axe nodes, do Cyclone or Earthquake for bosses. It was poison using Cost Breeze. It used Ulnator's Embrace. It's like a 20C cheap axe which has a lot of damage on it. Seems good. This, I was leveling it. I wanted to get to like level 80 before I started going into lab, because level 80 it was kind of like, it's just that you pick a random benchmark number, but at that point I could get enough life, enough damage that I feel safe doing it. I tried to run a Reflect map for reasons. I thought I'd be safe. If you go on my YouTube, you'll see I wasn't safe, so I'm like, ah, shit. So now what do I do? Will the client crash? No, we made it, boys. Okay, feels good. So then I thought, okay, well, let's see what's the cheapest way... Cat? What's the cheapest way that I can do my CI bow build? Because I want to do my whole CI bow build thing. And I was like, well, let's just make an Occultist. And why did I make an Occultist? And you can see we actually got it to like level 37. Nothing fancy, we just started leveling it. And I'll bring the tree up. It is this. So why did I want to do this? The reason why I want to do this is you can get a lot of energy shield. You can get 232% energy shield. Ignore the gear stuff, like it hasn't got proper gear setup on it. You get a lot of % energy shield while keeping the points reasonable. You can't actually see this, sorry. 232%, can keep it the points reasonable, you can get a bunch of damage on the tree, you can get a bunch of bleach, you can get Varpact, and it all kind of works. With the kind of like tree I wanted for my Raider character, it like capped out would have like 180, 190% maximum energy shield, capped out, like really like which is good if you have really good gear. If you haven't got really good gear, you're going to be looking at like 7k, 8k energy shield. This, even with this much, struggles to get to like 10k because it's, you know, it's a bow build, it doesn't get to use a shield, but you can get to like 10k energy shield with realistic gear with this setup. Not too difficult. Push 11k with very good gear. So I started leveling this, and this is what I was doing on the 16th. Now today's the 18th. On the 17th, Iron Fist came out, and I decided, you know what? I really like my Marvel Netflix shows. I really enjoy that stuff. We'll just take the 17th off. I meant to take like one day off a week anyway, just so I can like chill out. Haven't taken a day off this week. Take one day off. We'll one-shot Iron Fist, and then we'll get back to the streaming tomorrow. So I took yesterday off. Really enjoyed just having a day to myself, and I sat and watched 13 hours of Iron Fist. I'm wearing a ninja tee. I liked it. I enjoyed it, man. I thought it was really cool. A lot of people didn't really like Iron Fist. I did. It is what it is. Now, while I was watching it on my second monitor, I was tracking items because, you know, it's Tarke. He needs to track his items. And I bought and sold a few items. And I was actually, this is something that I recommend that everyone does. When you collect gear for a character, if you haven't got the gear officially equipped, like if you can't use it in the next like 5 levels, have like a buyout stash tab and just throw all of your gear into that stash tab and just list everything for slightly more than you paid for it. Now, you don't have to do this, but if you're someone like me who likes to have multiple characters on the fly, like I will collect gear for characters that aren't like, they're like 2 or 3 characters. It might be a build that might not even play for another 1 or 2 weeks. So in that case, like for example, I knew that I wanted to play a bunch of cherubim characters, so I have like 3 cherubims in my stash right now, like 3 like near perfect cherubims. And I still haven't made a cherubim build, but I've got them sat there. So I like to collect gear. Whenever I see something good, like a good helm enchant, like I recently bought a plus tornado shot Devoto's Devotion. I'm not playing a build which can use it yet, but I'll play it later. Collect the gear, relist it for slightly more than I paid for it. Worst case scenario, it's still there for when I can use it on my character when I eventually get around to it. Best case scenario, I get to sell it and I get some profit, right? Seems good. So I was doing that because it's how I do all my characters, and I was actually selling a lot of my CI gear that I had prepared for this character. And I was like buying like good rolled Brian Rock Whalers for like 20C, listing them back up at like 30 to 40, and they were selling. And the whole time I was watching Iron Fist, I was just like selling Brian Rock Whalers. I only sold like 3 or 4 of them, but I sold like 3 or 4 of them and I made like 10 to 20C on each pair. I was like, holy shit. And basically what I was doing is Brian Rock Whalers, they have an ES roll and they have a projectile damage roll. I was just tracking them with projectile damage roll. Whenever a high projectile damage roll got sold for cheap, I'd buy it and I'd list it for 10C more, and they would just sell. In like a few hours later, they would just sell. So anyway, so that was going by, and while that was happening, really cheap life items were being listed. Like a good Fangjaw Tarzan was being listed, a few other ones being listed, and basically by the time I finished watching Iron Fist, I had actually like sold about half of my energy shield gear and picked up a lot of pretty nice life gear. Now I already have a Legacy Lightning Coil linked up. I have a linked up Doom Fletch Prism, really high rolls, etc, etc. And I was thinking, well actually, in this league it's Legacy League, right? There's Legacy Meganord's Girdle that gives extra flat fizz on there. Red Blade Tramplers are a pair of boots with flat fizz. With they've had 70 life added onto them in the latest patch. There are actually a lot of really good, this was a Doom Fletch Prism build by the way. There are a lot of like really good fizz-based items which seemed good for life, which I had, and I'd sold most of my CI gear. I thought, you know what, actually, maybe I should do this as a life build, not an Occultist CI build. So I stopped leveling it, and I actually started leveling up a Scion, Tarke Ascendant Cat, and we got to level 39 today on stream, and we can get the tree up. And again, nothing that fancy. Where is it? It's called Fletch Finder. There you go. And not a particularly fancy tree. It's a level 90 tree because you get additional passive skill points from being an Ascendant. Has a decent life total. with a lightning call equipped and an alpha's howl. If you equip something like a combs, take off the alpha and run like a sarconges, you get like 7.2k life. But anyway, it has like decent percent life. It's got loads of damage nodes on the tree. Gets heavy draw. Gets all the like the Ellie stuff. I wanted to try out. Okay, so the whole like phase acro thing. I normally am the guy who says you must always use phase acro. In my Caesar's build, I didn't actually get phase acro because I hadn't got to it yet. It was one of those things of I was always next to life nodes. And I was thinking, do I want to take this 3% life node, or do I want to take this like 5%? Sorry, do I want to take this 3% dodge node? Or do I want to take 5% life? And I always felt like, oh, I want more life. I don't save. I want more life. I want more life. I eventually got to the point where I was level 88, and I still hadn't picked up phase acro. I thought maybe I should try a dedicated character where I don't take phase acro. With this totem build, it's hard to judge because I have all these totems. Most of the mobs focus the totems, not me. Let's try just a dedicated character which doesn't take phase acro and just invest into life instead. And let's see if I like it. For the record, I still think phase acro is worth getting, but I thought, you know what, let's try a character where I don't get it. Instead, I take these 4 points and I invest it into life. As you can see, at level 90, there's still life I can get here, life I can get here. So in this version, I would get this life, and then I'd get phase acro. But anyway, so I start leveling this. Now, as I'm leveling it, a dude comes into chat. Now, about the first 3 days into the league, maybe 4 days, first week of the league, I theory crafted a mind over matter poison berserker, and this was like my budget build. I theory crafted this in the first week of the league and thought, you know, this is a build I should be playing, because I was getting really frustrated by the price of Death's Opus. Right after the nerfs, right after the nerfs to Reach of the Council, everyone was playing Death's Opus, and Death's Opus were going for like 100C. It was ridiculous. They were seriously overpriced. And I got really pissed off. I'm like, what the fuck? Why is this stuff so expensive? What can I do to make a cheap bow build not using Death's Opus? Lionized Glare. Lionized Glare is a very good Fizz DPS bow, and it has 100 flat mana on it. And I was thinking, hang on. Mind over matter is really good now. You get 100 flat mana from the bow itself. Berserker has inbuilt mana leech. Tarke, you've played non-crit bow Berserkers before. Poison builds scale very well off skittering runes on stuff like Temp Chains, Vulnerability, Approach Weakness. They scale very well with Curse Effect. And Poison scales exceptionally well with Skill Effect Duration. You could make a Poison Berserker build which gets both of the Skill Effect Duration clusters and just spends a few extra points to come up to Mind Over Matter. Because Poison builds also don't scale very well with auras. You can use the Cherubim chest piece instead of a Queen of the Forest, which is like the default chest piece that people use in these kind of builds. Cherubims gives 80% increased chaos damage and up to 100 flat life, and there's really good synergy here. You have this bow, which is like the perfect non-crit bow now. It's like the best non-crit bow with Reach the Council, unless you get a legacy one, with Reach the Council being gone, which gives mana. It has really good synergy. So anyway, I made this video, and there's a few people who've been playing this build who've been giving me updates. So it's like, I'll be streaming, they come and say, hey man, I just killed this boss, or hey, I just did this. I've got one dude who spam sends me emails about it, asking like for gear upgrades and stuff. And there's this other guy who every couple of days he comes to me like, dude, I just killed X. And the last time I spoke to him, he was like, oh dude, I just killed some of the Guardians. You know, I'm really impressed with this build, it's so tanky, you should play it. And I'm like, oh, I'll get around to it eventually. And he came into my stream again when I was leveling the Scion. I was like at duress or something. He's like, dude, I just killed Shaper. This build is amazing. Thank you so much for making this build. I was like, oh shit, cool man. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't play that character. People like, what character? So obviously like chat asked you like, what character are you talking about, man? So I started explaining the build, and then people like, dude, you should play this. Fuck Scion. And again, the Scion thing was kind of a meme. And the reason why I was playing Scion, I didn't really explain it, was for power charge generation. The reason I wanted the power charge generation was so I didn't need to use Assassin's Mark. And so I didn't need to use like a crazy 100, 200C jewel. Instead, I could use this, and I could run Ellie Weakness as my main curse. MoM, where you maim enemies when you hit them with a crit, is a 30% slow. It's quite nice defense. You get extra projectiles, or you get Raider for the free onslaught. Blah, 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 defensive tree. Like, I kind of just made it because I hadn't played a Scion, like, ever, and memes, right? But anyway. So, people are like, dude, fuck the Scion build. Play the Berserker, play the Berserker, play the Berserker. So, we make a straw poll, we throw the straw poll out into chat, and obviously, the Berserker wins. So, we are now leveling a Berserker. So basically, since the champion video, we've done a lot of leveling. We made the lab character. The lab character died while leveling, and we killed it. Well, we killed it in early maps because I tried to run a reflect map. And then we got a character to like level 30. Got a character to like level 30. And then Twitch wanted me to reroll. So we're now playing the Mind Over Matter cat. Tarke MoM cat. It will be a Mind Over Matter Poison Tornado Shot Berserker. I get to use all of my fancy new gear. I get to use my additional projectile items I've been picking up for cheap, so like I'm happy. So that is what I'm currently doing, and I'm gonna rush this up. We're not taking any more breaks for a while, so we'll get this up and we'll get together. We'll be able to give you guys some more like character updates. But obviously, a level 18 character update, not much I can do. So that's like where I'm at and where I've been at for the last few days. Now, just a brief thing I want to say in terms of the channel. And this isn't like a big drama or anything. This is just something that I want to say in terms of the channel. Because at the end of the day, it's my channel, and yeah. So, have I got display capture on? Yes, I do. Right. So we've been doing amazingly well. Like, amazingly well. And I thank you guys. We were on like 2,000 subs. We're now on like 7,399. We're doing really well. With Baycast, we've been doing well. With the stream, we've been doing well. We've been doing really fucking well recently. Now, I've been posting stream highlights on my channel since I've started streaming again. We still do the character updates. We still do the build theory crafts. The reason why there haven't been any build theory crafts recently is because I've been hopping in between characters. And I've been very busy organizing the podcast, which has been getting crazy traction. A lot of you guys have been liking it. But yeah. Now, all of these like stream highlights, I just want you to know, these don't take time away from me uploading my normal YouTube videos. These are things which happen when I'm streaming, which people find funny or I think people find interesting. I put them on the channel. So for example, stuff like getting the reliquary keys. People find that stuff sort of entertaining, decent like to dislike ratio stuff. People like the whole update stuff. It's a new mechanic, seems good. So I do it a couple of times. A dude in my stream says, dude, I've got 20 keys. Do you want to record me opening them? I do it. People get a bit angry on the dislikes, whatever, but it's fine, right? It's fine. I think you guys will enjoy it. Now, whenever I make a trade video, guys get a little bit salty, right? You guys don't like it when I make trade videos. Now, personally, I think the trade videos are important. The reason why I think they're important is they show, like, actual human reactions to things. Generally speaking, the only times you get, like, really human reactions in Path of Exile in hardcore is when someone rips, when they get incredibly lucky, or when they get either very angry and or happy. Now, I went to film school. My thing was documentary. The thing which I find interesting is humans. I find, like, emotion interesting, right? So when I watch like streamers and streamer interactions, I love watching all this crazy shit. I love watching all this crazy shit. I love watching it. I find this shit fucking hilarious. So when I see my favorite streamer get like really built up about a trade, to me that is like the best content because I find that stuff hilarious. Now you guys don't always like it. Some of you do, some of you don't. You can see it's a pretty 50-50 thing. I just want you to know that me making a stream highlight doesn't take away from my time making build guides or whatever. If you don't like the content, that particular content, I would recommend to you just don't watch it, right? Just don't watch it. If I have a few days where I'm not able to make like what feels like a good build guide, I'm not going to produce a build guide. I do want to stick to daily YouTube videos. It's something I want to do. We took one day off yesterday, so there wasn't a video yesterday. Sometimes there will be stream highlights instead of like build videos. But a lot of the time, I do 2-3 videos a day sometimes. Most of the time, you'll see that I'll make like a build guide and like a trade video or a highlight video in the same day. They don't steal from each other. They're completely separate. So I just want to say that they are separate things. So don't worry. I'm not like changing my content in any way. It's just if I'm streaming like 10 hours a day or something, and something in that 10 hours, I think someone on the internet will find this kind of funny, I'll clip it, I'll put it onto YouTube. If you guys like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I'm not going to stop doing it, though, because it's content that I personally enjoy watching from other streamers. And it seems dumb for me to purposely not put content on my channel that I would enjoy watching. And some of you do enjoy watching. It's like there's like a 50-50 split when there's some of these things. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to explain that a little bit. It's just one of those things. Hopefully we will continue to, as a community, grow in such a way that we enjoy everything that we do, but nothing's perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. I'm just a dude who enjoys playing games on the internet. And for the record, I enjoy playing hardcore. If I rip in hardcore, just let me rip. You get to laugh at me being an idiot, then I get to level a new character. I enjoy it. But that's just that. But anyway. I'm Tarke. This is a Ninja T. Iron Fist, in my opinion, was pretty cool. I liked it. And I'll keep you guys updated on my upcoming characters. Have a good day. Bye-bye.